I recently competed in Pro Tour Edge of Eternities, which was my first Pro Tour after nearly a decade of grinding. In this video, I'll be reviewing my journey to get there, my tournament, and reflecting on the bad modern deck I played.
Boros Energy had about a 45% win rate. It didn't have a good weekend, kind of as we expected.
I'll even include a sideboard guide for the perilous souls who want to play Boros Energy at their regional championship. My Pro Tour journey started in Hartford, Connecticut, where I placed 19th at the regional championship with Izzet Cutter and Standard. It was the best deck, so I played it. I qualified despite my saying it was my last tournament, barely preparing and making plans to see sinners halfway through day one of the event. My friends dragged me across the finish line on this one. They handed me a deck, told me how to play it, and taught me to look out for Abuelo from the Omniscience deck. Before this, I had a long history of not playing the best deck and narrowly missing the Pro Tour because of it. Some say I even played a bad deck. Pro Tour Edge of Eternities was modern constructed and edge limited. I was fortunate enough to work with Team Flexlot Diamond for this tournament. This was a fantastic group of players, but more on them later. Also, George, forever. From the release of Edge of Eternities on August 1st to the Pro Tour on September 26th, there were 57 days for me to play both limited and modern. So I started drafting. I wound up drafting probably around 40 times, which might not be a lot for some, but for me was a ton. I even helped get draft night at my LGS off the ground, which was fulfilling, even if I kept getting late Galactic Wayfarers. With so much time to practice Modern, I figured it was finally time to learn the Boogeyman. Amulet Titan. I read articles, I studied the sacred texts, I lost at FNM with the deck, I lost on MTGO with the deck, I lost goldfishing the deck to myself. I was becoming the most mid-Titan player of all time, and with a wonderful presentation from Titan Masters Mason B and Nathan G from the team, I was all set to throw out the deck and try something else. Next came Goryo's, which had a ton of appeal. It was playing the new Quantum Rizzler, had broken scam-like draws from two different angles, and could play a decent mid-range game. However, I felt there were many points in the mid-game where the top decks were quite poor, so I decided against it. As a Lotus Bloom enjoyer, evident by my years of torture, I considered Belcher heavily as well, but felt that if the metagame truly came equipped to beat the deck, it would. I circled back to old reliable, stock Boros Energy with Blood Moons. Playing the perceived best deck had given me most of my success in the last few years of my Magic career.
Steve Stillman is 0-14 against me.
So I had no problem doing it again. Boros was capable of winning its bad matchups, and turn 1 Ragavan, turn 2 Blood Moon on the play could beat literally anything. Surely Reed Duke registered Boros at this Pro Tour.
I am playing Azorius Blink.
I got off my flight in Atlanta, Ubered to the testing house, and immediately got plunged into a draft. I 2-won the first draft, losing to powerful Nathan of the Guild Leaf. Our modern lead, Mikey, otherwise known as Young Dingo, had already been hex drinking our Belcher player, Christian, of PT Final Fantasy fame, into oblivion, and I refused to play against Neobrand. Our Airbnb had conveniently come with a giant whiteboard where we'd written out the archetypes and our players on them. Wrote my name next to Nick Odenheimer's in the Boros Energy column. A solid amount of my testing was against future Secret Lair creator Hunter Orvington at Thai Food So Good. While he was playing Eldrazi Ramp, every game won against him I went turn 1 Ragavan, turn 2 Blood Moon. Nick said, I guess we could stomach this hand, staring at literal Exodia against Hunter. Nick and I went into the basement to finish cooking up our revolutionary deck. We spent 2 hours discussing each matchup, changing a card here or there. We finally landed on 74 of the same 75. It was perfect. It was pristine. It was stock Boros Energy. Our limited lead and now Worlds competitor Adam Brace arrived to give us a fantastic presentation on EOE Draft. The final day before the Pro Tour, I played no Magic. My fiance Tori was there for the convention, and I got to attend both the Players Party, where I got my PT branded merch, and then ran off to Tori's Dragon Shield event where they unveiled new sleeves. Oh, and the rest of the team had a great time at the Georgia Aquarium. I was seated in Pod 20, and while I didn't recognize any names, I realized I was actually drafting across from an MTGO killer. I drafted the fantastic Universes Beyond control deck with not one but 2 mythic rares. I won round 1 against Soichiro Kohara from Japan, where he brought back an Extinguisher Battleship 3 times. I lost that game but won the match. And won round 2 against Hanbin Zhou from China, but also Australia. He had an Australian accent. At 2-0, I found myself against Charis Kikitis of Greece, His white-black aggro deck was the perfect match for my slow, clunky Endstone deck, and he used Servandum and Servandum to beat me down. Oddly enough, I used Mog's Blue-Black Ninja's deck list and guide to win my RCQ that qualified me for the RC, which then brought me to play him at the Pro Tour. We'll take the 2-1, on to Modern. The metagame breakdown was not what we expected, and I feel this is the consensus amongst a decent amount of the teams going into the event. Round 4. I play against Tyler Stetchman from New York on Esper Blink, and with the power of Fable of the Mirror Breaker and the trusty Goblin Shaman, I emerge victorious. 3-1. Round 5. I play against Chris Kral from the United States on Orzhov Blink with Aethervile. While Aethervile was once a revolutionary piece of Pro Tour history, the year is 2025. It did have text in blanking my Voice of Victory Game 1, but Game 3 in top deck mode, I drew my 3-for-1 Fable of the Mirror Breaker magic card, and Chris drew Ancient Relic Aethervile. 4-1. Round 6, I play against Xander Nemenko from Canada, who can't be more than like 12 years old. Luckily, through the power of Open Deck List and Blood Moon, I'm able to lock him out Game 1 and Game 2. Victory, 5-1. Round 7, I faced my first Pro Tour winner of the tournament, Samuel Estradi from Italy. He won the first Modern Pro Tour in 2011 with Splinter Twin. But I read his deck list and see non-basic lands. Who would win? A master of the game who paved the way for future Modern Pro Tours, or a content creator with turn 1 Ragavan, turn 2 Blood Moon? 6-1. Round 8. I'm paired against my first Goryo's opponent of the weekend, Jesse Hampton. Game 1, I get scammed and die to Riddler plus Frog. Blood Moon is potent against Goryo's though, but I think Open Decklist lets them play around it too easily. Game 2, I bombard my cats, and Game 3, he pest controls my whole board. 6-2 and into day 2. I'm seated in Pod 5 with some other killers. 2 seats to my right is my friend Tom, who goes to my LGS, also playing in his first Pro Tour. I wind up in a synergistic blue-red deck, which is a color pairing I wanted to avoid. I play against Raul Porojan from Germany. He had an intimidating table presence for sure, but I was able to pressure him in top deck Mechanizoa to cross the finish line. 7-2, round 10. I'm against Mateo Ferreira, a fantastic player from Spain. We had a very close game 1, which he later described as his hardest of the tournament, so at least I got that. Game 2, he used mental modulation as a combat trick during blocks in a way I hadn't considered before, which 2-for-1'd me, and it was downhill from there. An awesome learning moment. 7-3, round 11. I'm paired to another Zoomer and likely the best red deck player in the world, Quintonole. He beat me down with insatiable Skitter Maws, triggering Void along the way. 7-4, round 12. The content creator Boros mirror match for the ages, Sam Bogue, commander content creator and close friend, is once again paired against his destroyer,
Steve Stillman.
He critiques my deck list, I kill him with Flage in Game 3. 8-4. Round 13. I'm paired into a player I have a 100% win rate against, with a sample size of 1. So it's no big deal. It's just, Seth Manfield, Hall of Famer, 2-time Pro Tour winner, world champion. He's on prowess, which should be a good matchup. I keep a 7 with a fine curve and die. Maybe I should have mulliganed. Game 2, I have my bases covered until he resolves the horrifying eyeball. 8-5. Round 14. I'm against my new friend Adrian from Poland this round, and he's on Goryo's. He dumpsters me and it's not close. But we complement each other's signed cards, and I wound up talking to him for like an hour in line at an artist booth the next day. 8-6. Round 15. Goryo's again. He's very nice, and in Game 1 was kind enough to let me win because he played Jace Vryn's Prodigy in 2025. I lose Game 2 to the almighty Pest Control, and Game 3 accidentally mulligan to 8, but he just Riddler scams me out of the match. 8-7. Round 16. The wheels have fallen off, and I can no longer re-qualify for the next Pro Tour. Well, it's my buddy Zach, who I've played Valorant with, and he's playing the Team Handshake Goryo's list. He correctly left in Force of Negations against my Boros list, relying on Blood Moons and Fables, and swiftly 2-0's me. 8-8. It's a shame to not re-qualify after a strong start. My goal for the weekend was to enjoy the experience while trying my hardest. I came in 118th and got $1,000 for my troubles. This tournament not only helped me shake the imposter syndrome I had, but also taught me I still have a lot to learn in terms of preparation. Speaking of which, although I wouldn't recommend Boros unless the meta shifts, as it had a 43% win rate on the weekend, I'm providing my sideboard guide on flexlot.gg. Nick also went 8-8, but qualified for 2 more Pro Tours. Dingo 10-6'd and requalified for the next Pro Tour too. While we were all fighting for our lives, Mason was sweeping the floor with the Swiss and top-8'd a tournament with Amulet. My hope in making this video was to stress the importance of the Pro Tour. With local RCQ attendance dwindling thanks to a stagnant standard, weak promos, and lack of incentives, I just hope the Pro Tour sticks around long enough for me to play more. I have the fire to compete again, and we'll be at Spotlight Series Baltimore and Regional Championship Vegas, hoping to requalify and get back on the PT. If you like this tournament report video, let me know and I'll gladly make more. Thank you for watching.